So I recently traveled to Spain, and as usual, I took my cajon with me. However, this time I did not put my cajon in a nice external bag, and I put it into like checked luggage, and I broke a string. So this is the first time that I ever broke one of my strings of my very own Cruz Cajon. So they're awesome. They usually don't break. But this has happened to me finally, and I thought I'd make a video with you guys sharing my little experience, my first time experience changing the actual string myself. Now obviously this only would apply to a traditional flamenco cajon, which has the guitar strings right in the front, inside, against the front board of the cajon. We're not talking about cajons with snares inside, or the Peruvian cajon, which doesn't have strings or snares, right? So if you have a flamenco cajon and you get a string that snaps, it should be pretty straightforward to try to fix it yourself. If you're a bit concerned about it, obviously you can take it to a carpenter or your local cajon artisan, if there is such a thing. Your local cajon artisan, like your local bakery man, your local cajon artisan. Anyway, forget I said that. We're going to try and do this ourselves. It's really cool. It's a way you get acquainted with your cajon. And generally, as a rule, if you have a kind of decent quality cajon, so I'm not talking about lower end cheaper cajons, I'm talking about a decent quality cajon, like my incredible Cruz Cajons. The front board, which we are going to need to remove in order to see what the heck is going on the inside and do some surgery, can be removed only by loosening and removing the screws on the front board. So generally with cheaper kind of cajons, you will have that the front board is stuck on with glue, and that might be, definitely would be a lot more tricky, because you're going to have to kind of wedge your way around with a knife, and maybe you will actually damage your cajon. But for a decent quality cajon, this is something that you can definitely try to do yourself. Anyway, they generally do allow you to loosen or tighten the screws on higher end cajons, also because that does actually change the sound of your cajon. If you move specific screws up or down, you're going to have a difference in the sound, because suddenly you have more or less air and space moving in and out of your cajon. So that's a little side tip. So we're going to be looking at how to remove the front board or the tapa from your cajon in order to have a little look inside and remove the strings. It's pretty simple. In order to do this, we would obviously need a very basic tool, a screwdriver. Right, now obviously you have to make sure that you've got like the specific screwdriver that will fit with the screws to the front. But that's pretty basic. So we're gonna have a little look at this. We're gonna start removing the screws from the front board. Right, okay, so usually when you're like tuning a snare drum, that means you're tuning it, you're tightening it, you're trying to get the perfect sound out of it. You generally tend to go like the polar opposites. You would loosen, polar opposite screws so that it evenly kind of moves, instead of having, the one side lifting up, even though it's minor screw and you can't really necessarily see it, and this side being very tight. However, we're just going to be removing the board and then just putting it back as it was, which is not going to be possible because, yeah, well, it would if I had to calculate every screw and how much I turned it, at how much velocity and how many each and every screw, and wrote that down. And I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to remove the front board, and then I'll do a video for you guys as to showing you guys, as I'm putting the front board back on, how actually your sound adjusts and changes as you are like tightening and loosening certain parts on the front board. All right, so let's get started. Here we go. He's so pretty. It's the first time I'm operating on her, and here we go. Okay, it's not starting good. It doesn't want to move. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, maybe I have the wrong screwdriver. I really think so. I hope so, because it's it's not going. Wow. Well, there you have it, my friends. That's how you change the strings of your cajon. You take it somewhere where it gets changed. Or even better, I will redo this with the proper screwdriver. There we go. Right, so I'm back and I have found the bigger brother of the late great screwdriver, which was completely useless. So we're gonna try this again. All right, so let's go. You're so beautiful. I love you. This will not hurt. Okay, yeah, this is the right size, but you've got to turn it left, which I don't know if that's normal. It is my first time. It's not the first time I take off a front board from a cajon, but it's the first time that I take off the front board from my very own Cruz Cajon and try to change the string myself. So I think I will fast forward this video for you guys. Literally, we're just gonna unscrew. As you can see, the whole screw's coming out there, boom, boom, boom. These are black screws, specifically and strategically made black because of the black front board of my Elite Toro model. All right, so first screw, fine, let's just be practical right left. So as I said, I'm just gonna do them like one after the other, right next to each other, because you wouldn't be doing this if you try to tune your cajon for sounds. You wanna like, if you wanna loosen the ends, like the whole top board, you wanna do like that side and then polar end. And then that side and then polar end, and then, you know, something like that. Like try to evenly shift it slowly. But now we'll actually remove them all, so it doesn't really matter. All right. I really hope there's enough space on my iPhone to capture this, and I think I need a new iPhone, because this is an iPhone X, and you know what? Do the best you can with what you got where you're at, that's cool. But then there's also a point where it's like, well, time to move up to the next level, huh? All right. Four screws out. As you can see, that over there is lifted. So there's no glue on this front board, which is so essential because you need a little bit of that air to create or to keep that kind of crispy snare sound from your cajon. That's very essential, especially for the flamenco cajon. I mean, it's all about adding that sound and not too much of a dry kind of gum ka, but a gum cha, you know, cha, air, aire. So yeah, any good flamenco cajon would not be stuck on with the front board. There's no need to stick it on, because yeah, usually they stick it on, you know, because closing it completely gives you a better bass. But if you have a really well constructed artisan cajon like this one, or like a proper flamenco cajon, then they calculate in all the awesome bass sounds in the actual freaking design of the whole box and the internal work as well as. So this has an internal bass port built inside. That means there's a thicker piece of wood around the sound hole right in the back, which just emphasizes and creates an oomph, a bigger kick from your bass. All right, so we're doing good here. She's a very patient patient. I really love my cajon, obviously. So, and I find this fun to do this because you learn so much more. It's a way of bonding with your cajon, man. And you learn so much more about how it's constructed, why it is like it is. You can really tune your cajon how you'd like to have it, you know, if you really get to know all her buttons. Hello. So, we're almost there. There you go. no idea how many screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11, double number. I like it. So we're going for screw number 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. No, that can't be. Yeah, 19. 19. It's an odd number. You see? Like, you find out about your cajon. I mean, this is my own brand, and I don't even know how many screws is on the front board because I've never needed to know that. I just needed to play it and it sounded awesome. But sometimes in life, you get a little hiccup and a little bit of trouble, and you've got to stop and really investigate. And then you discover something about something that is very precious to you that just, again, bonds you with your cajon. And also with your music and with yourself, respecting yourself, that you understand something a bit better. It's an incredible journey. We're almost there. Yeah, it's completely loose. There is absolutely no glue whatsoever on this front board. No. Proper, bloody, handcrafted shite, mate. Okay. She has so many marks on the front of her, but that's a good sign. It means that you've been using your cajon. It's not a piece of furniture, it's an instrument, and it's an instrument that's meant to be banged and played and beat up. You know, not that I'm saying you should throw your cajon around, but it's not a bad sign when you start getting little marks and stuff. It means that you're really playing, and that's much more important than a physical instrument. Music in your soul. All right, second last screw. We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now everything is loosed over here. You are loosed. Thou art loosed. One. I'm just going to count it again just in case I counted wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Correcto. All right, moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so you can see she's completely loose. Oh, hold on. Before I continue, I have to remove the attachable. This is a new feature that we've added to the Cruz Cajon. It's really awesome. It's an internal sound carpet, which really gives you a beautiful distinction between your basses and your highs, and kind of removes some of the mid-tones that you don't want. So you really have a kind of dry but kick bass and a really high, crispy high, without much of the mid-tones like the tuck, 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 okay? And you can actually just lie it on the internal of your cajon, and I'll show it to you guys in a second. And you create a completely different sound from your cajon when you have more resonance, more reverb, more mid-tones. Yeah, so the one I really use for recording. It's really good to have the sound curtain on for recording and off for if you're playing in a live acoustic setting and you need to be really loud. All right, so we have now got to the moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. Completely loose. All right, this is the inside of my incredible beauty. Ooh, hello. What do I have here? I have a rose leaf, yeah, from a rose that I recently put inside the cajon when I traveled back from the wedding, and a little bit of gaffer tape, which is always useful for a musician to have. Okay, so if we look at this right now, these strings, this one is completely snapped. You can see this is the, okay, firstly the front board is just awesome and thin, and it's got the Velcro strips to which we attach this bad boy, like this. So what it does is it kind of just dampens a little bit of the resonance and puts your strings right against the front board. Basically, you put it on like this from behind and remove it, obviously, and then you can just lie it on the front. Okay, I'm going to just put her up here, put my front board here. All right, so we have a string here that's completely snapped, which needs to be, replaced. And in fact, it's one string doubled up because guitar strings are long. So we need to replace the entire string on this one. And over here, this string is actually quite stretched already. It would eventually snap, so I might just as well change this one as well while I'm at it. That's really cool. And this is our tuning system. This is where you tighten or loosen the strings to get more or less of like a snare or a crispy sound. All right, and this is what I meant by the built-in bass board. There is this built-in, specifically, like, you know, measured and everything to give it a specific sound from the bass, which is just incredible. All right, so I am going to find out how to remove the strings next. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I am going to stop this video because I think that I don't have enough space in my iPhone. So I have to stop this and then kind of like download it first and then continue on with this video. So I'll see you guys like literally very soon because I can edit this post-production. So I'm back and we are going to change the guitar strings, as I said. Now, as I opened this, I realized, oh shit, you actually need guitar strings, another set of guitar strings to change the strings. So I frantically was looking through my guitar case to find some guitar strings. Now, firstly, the guitar strings that is used generally for flamenco cajons is the A string. That's the second string from the top, and it's a classical guitar string or an acoustic, well, not acoustic, classical or flamenco guitar string. So I will show you guys what happened. I went through all my strings and this is not the right string, this is not the right string. This is bronze strings, not useful. I mean, we could try it in another video. That's not the right string. There's no strings in that. I have already changed my guitar multiple times this year. I have another set of bronze strings which are old, and actually, I've even written down the date of these strings because I've written songs on the strings. And one day when those songs are big hits, I'm going to sell these strings for a lot of money if you're up for it. They're there on the floor. This is another brand new acoustic guitar set of strings. Right, these are old flamenco strings. So maybe it looks like I'm going to have to go with just using some old guitar strings. Yeah, here's some old ones too. Here's some old ones too. Here are very old ones as well, 2018 till 2021. I wrote a lot of songs on these strings. They're incredible. Okay, so we're going to actually just change one string for this video. And then I will proceed to buying new A strings because I think it's a good idea to put brand new strings on here so that it lasts longer. But for now, just for this video, so that I don't lose all the funny things that I did in all the previous videos, we're going to just make do with this set of strings, all right? All right, so, okay, so if we come up a little closer, Mr. Cameraman. I have a cameraman right now, which is awesome. This was very spontaneous as well. Okay, so firstly, the strings that we're going to be putting on here, again, you can kind of mess around. You can try the E string, but the general string is the A string. You will see that it's more or less the same size. So this is our bad boy that we'll be using, all right? So I'm just going to try to, there we go. That was pretty easy. Now all I've got to make sure is that the string is going to be long enough. So we're using one string to create two strings. Very efficient. All right, cool. Right, so okay, first we're going to start with this one because this is obviously the one that has completely snapped. All right, we have a screw over here and we have to obviously loosen that first. And yeah, hold on. Yeah. Okay, so this string gets put through here like you would kind of tune a guitar, but it's got this little end. Can you see that? All right. So you don't have to get strings like that, but it would be easier. We're going to have to make a knot with our current string because we don't have that kind of feature. All right, so firstly, we're just gonna put the string through first, and then we'll do the screwdriver. Now, there we go. It's not that hard. You just push it through like that. All right, so it's gonna come down like this. It's gonna go, how is it gonna go? Let's have a look. Yeah. It's gonna go like behind the screw in here. Can you guys see? This is like our tuning system. It's a very unique tuning system. It looks flimsy, but it has to kind of give that air to the string to breathe and move, which is really awesome. Alrighty. Holy. Let's see if we can do this. Wait, okay, there we go. It's through, okay? So remember, we have to secure it here on the top, but I just want to see how much leeway do I have here. And I think in order to start with it, we're just going to lift this as high as it can go. And then we will tune and tighten the strings once it's fully secured, because it looks like it's just being secured by the screw over there, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, I should have been a man. Ooh, but I'm not. I'm a woman. Don't read anything into what I say. I am just having fun with my cajon today. All right. Okay, so cool. We got this going over here. We still have this part down here. Now we kind of have to secure this over here. So we're gonna make a knot. Usually with these strings, because they have like little teeth, they kind of, so you can just make a single knot. If you're unsure, you can make a double knot. Kind of like if you were gonna tune a guitar or string a guitar, if you know about that. And if you don't, you should definitely find out about it. How's our cameraman doing over there? Are you enjoying it? All right, wait, first, so that seems fairly good. So at this moment, I just created a knot, as you can see, a single knot. We're going to do two, just for those that love to be very safe. Okay, safe. Okay. All right. Now I'm pulling this down. Cool. It's gonna stay. It's all good. Now we have to take these strings to the front, right? They cannot go to the back. They have to be against the front board here. So you have to take them here to the front. And now we have the job of securing this bad boy over here. So we are going to move on to this. Right, let's see if I can do this. Cameraman, are you capturing this? It's easy. It's literally just a screw. And we're going to see how they have actually secured the end of the string with the screw, very simply. All right. We can fast forward this. It doesn't really matter. Or you can watch my beautiful muscles doing its work. Anyway. Right. So we are going to completely screw this out, even though I think that's unnecessary, but I want to see what is happening here. Okay, so it's been twirled around and kind of screwed into the wood. Can we get a close-up of that? Yeah. All right, and now as I remove it, yeah, it's just been twirled around one whole way. Okay, here we go. Let's try this. You want to twirl it. It seems like, if we look at this side, it got twirled that way. So, okay, but this is that way. So we're going to twirl it exactly the same way, all right? And actually, just to make it easier, because we have leverage here in the bottom with the screw, we can bring it down. We can actually do it loosely, which is pretty easy to do. I think we're just gonna freaking try it like this. you know, hello. This is me being the best engineer in the world right now. All right, here we go. Okay, good. So you see I twirled it around. Look, I mean, in life, you just have to try things and see where it goes. And if it doesn't work, then just... Okay, so now we're tightening the screw, which is towards the right. And I am feeling resistance. I want this to be as secure as it can, so I'm going to just take it down like they did it. This is really not the best table or chair to do this on. This is one of my observations of this first time trying this. So if you do this, like, try to get a bloody workstation that actually is professional. However, I am having fun. Whoa. Okay, now we're getting to a critical point. That needs to be secured in there. It needs to go in and be like literally screwed in. Okay, so no, you see? Actually, you could have just done this after you screwed in the screw. It's easier, okay? One thing you can take home from one of my mistakes. Here we go. Okay. You need to apply force, obviously. And not so easy because you're kind of holding the bloody string and applying force. But you don't want the string to be there because we have to put the front board back. So what do I do with this? I just make sure that it goes in. You need to think ahead. Yes, Heidi. I'm talking to myself. All right. All right. Okay, let's just say this is very wrong because we have this now and it's going to create a gap against when we put the front board back. Well, it's not that bad because there's already that gap, but I think we would try to avoid that if you want it to be perfect. But for the sake of this video and for the matter of fact that I have limited space on my iPhone with videos, we're just going to continue as though this is fine, okay? So at this moment, we've got this loose string coming up here. And so basically, we're going to tighten it from our tuning system down in the bottom. Very simple, very useful, very effective, and actually can be tuned while you are sitting and playing on the cajon, which is really awesome. Okay. Now there is already a little tract on the wood because I have played this before and where the string should be. It's about 1 centimeter away from each other and then it goes up to about 1.5 centimeters on the top. This is obviously strategically made like this. So, okay, these are way looser, so I'm not going to tighten it that much. It's not necessary. You do not have to tighten your strings that much. But we will only have an idea about the sound once we have placed the top board back. But basically, that's pretty simple. It's really, really simple to change your strings. I would probably redo this screw and try to put the entire part of the string there. Or even put a bit less around the top. You hear the difference? That's way tighter than that, right? So, well, obviously that's a bit, yeah. So that's basically it for now. And then I will make another video to show you guys what happens when I put the front board back on, when I am specifically tuning the cajon once I've, restrung the cajon, what it sounds like. Also, the differences in sounds when you really tighten or loosen some of the screws on the front board. But yeah, it's been an adventure. I really like it. It's actually really, really simple and really technical and hands-on. I love my baby now more than ever. See you guys for the next one. Ciao. it's a way of bonding with your cajon, man.